So I want to ask Americans, MAGA, liberals, uh, thugs, straight people, non-straight people, should we be sad that Lindsey Graham died? I don't think Lindsey Graham's my daddy. Don't think she's my mama either. Um, that doesn't mean I shouldn't mourn him, but if you're not my dad or my mom, why should I mourn him? Do we lose a great American leader, or did we lose somebody who actually uh, has played a key part in the destruction of the fabric of America? Should we be celebrating or not celebrating someone who I think, if you look at his record, he represents the unraveling of this country. He represents putting a lot of money, putting us in danger, and wasting a lot of money. Let me start off before we look at how much money this guy has signed off on, not just by himself, but he's been participating with other people. It's more than 8 trillion. It's probably close to $15 trillion. Before I do that, let's start off with the war that Trump didn't even want to go to, that he kept on pushing and even threatened to cut funding because he controls spending, discretionary spending, and things like that. Uh, and he's the most powerful person in the House and controls spending. Trump did not want to go to war with Iran. Let's talk about the Iran war. Okay, now the Iran war cost America. I'm not sure how much it is. It's close to 25 billion, much more than that. I'll look at the numbers. Cost us a lot of money. Destroyed our weapons systems in the Middle East because Iran destroyed all of it. Humiliated us to the point where we either lost or we drew with a minor power with Israel. Funded a lot of money for Israel. Destroyed everything. Then had millions of Iranians saying kill Americans. We're going to get revenge. We're going to kill Trump. They also said they were going to kill Lindsey Graham. So he put our country in danger with this Iranian war, which, when you look at it, what was the reason for this war? I don't think there's any tangible reason. So there's no reason why we should think that this guy deserves any any praise. I'm not going to say you should celebrate his death, but he definitely was somebody who was dangerous for America. And I think that now he's gone. Hopefully, we're in a little less danger. Over 30 years in Congress, this guy never found a war he didn't want to sign on. He signed on for the NATO intervention in Kosovo. Check Kosovo out there in Yugoslavia or somewhere. He signed
Yeah.
on that. The Afghanistan war. Afghanistan war, okay, September 11th. Maybe that was okay. 25 years Afghanistan. Iraq war, which was based on illegal false weapons of mass destruction, which cost the U.S. trillions of dollars. Libya to go kill Gaddafi. Killing Gaddafi put a void in Libya. They raided Libya's treasury, and it led to terrorists and immigrant problem in Europe. Um, Overthrowing Syria, the war against ISIS. He supported the war for Saudi Arabia against Yemen, supported the Ukraine war, and the couple of days before he died, he was up in Ukraine selling more drones to the Ukraine, which American tax dollars pay for, and extensive support for Israel. He stands by Israel. He stands by a genocidal country. We give more money to Israel than we give to education in our country. He stands by all of this. He The Israel War paints a bad picture for America, their genocide, because our government is funding the killing of women and children in the Middle East. And mark my words, it's going to come back on us through terrorism. Then, of course, he went all out for Iran. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't have been an Iranian war. So this guy has overall spent more than eight, not spent, but he signed off along with others on more than $8 trillion. Now we want to now look at what that money could have been used for, or where that money could have been rerouted, if not for that. With this 8 trillion that the U.S. has spent on, I can't see any of these wars that were really necessary. He claims that they're necessary for American defense. I don't see it. If you really wanted to fight a war for American defense, why didn't we go to war to Saudi against Saudi Arabia when they funded September 11th and attacked American soil? You're attacking Iran, which has never attacked American soil. So here's how much it rerouted. That money could have been used for healthcare, 800 billion per year for 10 years. Um, Education, 400 billion for 20 years. Affordable housing, eight separate 1 trillion national housing projects. I mean, these are just simple things, one and one. Infrastructure, jobs, and creation, about 16 programs worth 500 billion each year for roads, bridges, railway, water systems, broadband, and energy infrastructure. Roughly $24,000 for every American based on, maybe relief or whatever. National debt reduction. It could have reduced debt by 8 trillion. These numbers are just saying what you could do for one thing. But what I'm saying is that the U.S. right now is having an infrastructure problem. It's having a problem with education. It's having a problem with the cost of living. And a lot of this money that's being printed or borrowed to fund $8 trillion worth of war would have revolutionized America. What I would have said was just take 1 trillion or put 500 billion in education every year. Maybe put some money into roads and buildings to develop the U.S. In the 1950s, the U.S. didn't have a highway system to travel from state to state. And the president, I forgot who it was it Wilson or whoever it was, signed a great deal, signed a bill to build the road systems in the U.S. If the U.S. didn't have road systems, a lot of businesses and things wouldn't thrive and the country wouldn't grow. So this is the idea is to spend money on infrastructure, education, and things that really matters, not to spend billions of dollars on the Ukraine. I'm going to find those numbers exactly how much we spent on Ukraine and Iran, but that type of money could have been rerouted, especially since we have a healthcare crisis. We have a crisis in which parents can't find daycare for their kids and go to work, safe daycare for their kids, and also a crisis in education and in infrastructure. And when you look at inner cities in America with young black youth, they're turning to drug sales and violence, not because they're evil people, but because there's no opportunities. So if you want to spend money on national defense to me doesn't mean killing people in Iran, killing women and children in Iran, killing women and children in Palestine. National defense means pumping money in the war against American poverty, American anxiety, American depression, American problems with opiates, with people killing each other, cancer. That's also a war. If you think war is not just killing children in Israel, in Palestine, war is also taking money to destroy economic forces and problems in America, not to spend money to go kill Gaddafi. So when I look at the death of Lindsey Graham, I'm not going to say whether or not we should rejoice, but I think we should breathe a little lighter because maybe with animals like him no longer around, some of our money can be used to protect our children and our societies. What's your thought? What's your thoughts, Afolabi?
You're absolutely right. And some of his ideological thought processes have been very, very bad, really. He was one of the most aggressive advocates for arming Ukraine and punishing Russia economically. And if you look at the Israel and regional conflicts from 2023, post 2023, he strongly supported military assistance to Israel and regional deployments against Iran, especially following October 7th. And all this totals to the amount you mentioned, the $8 trillion. And if you look at this $8 trillion, it's a massive chunk of money that, if you look at the opportunity cost, it could have funded healthcare. I mean, if you take out $800 billion annually for 10 years, you can fund healthcare with that. You can spend some $400 too annually for 20 years on education. And then about $24,000 on grants for American citizens. And then to think that all this money is debt that is being financed because there's interest on all these debts. So is this kind of interventionist approach is just putting American economy in jeopardy and making the cost of living higher for Americans. So basically, I don't know whether people should feel sad that he's dead, but basically, I think people like this, their ideology should just die with them, basically.
Yeah, I could actually feel sad that he's dead, but also be happy. You can do that. For example, let's say your mom has cancer and she's suffering. I'm sad that she died, but I'm also happy that she died because she's no longer suffering. So what I would say is that I'm sad that Lindsey Graham died because he's a human being, but I'm also happy because maybe we can start getting some money for our own programs here. Do you see what I'm saying? That follow me? It's
I
very
agree with
complex.
you. I agree with you.
My joy, I don't have joy in him being dead, but I'm happy he's dead because it opens opportunities for others. The same way that if I see somebody suffering and they have cancer and they're not going to live, I'm happy they passed away so that they don't suffer. So I'm happy he's dead because maybe it can reduce some suffering. Here are some numbers, okay? Now, in order to assassinate Gaddafi, the U.S. spent 815 billion, no, spent $1 billion to kill Gaddafi. Okay. Syria, the war in Syria to overthrow their government for God knows whatever reasons. Uh, they don't show the number. It's but it's close to at least $500 billion. Now to support airstrikes against yeah, they don't have, yeah, tens to hundreds of billion dollars for airstrikes against Syria. Let's look at a number. I want to see how much they've spent on Ukraine. For Ukraine, we've spent $174.2 billion so far. Um, Israel and the post October 7th. So post October 7th from Israel with the killing of they claim to be fighting Hamas, but they're killing women and children. By September 2025, an estimated 21.7 billion in military aid to Israel, plus 9.65 to 12 billion in related U.S. operations in Yemen. Approximately a total of 31 to 33.7 billion just over a year to help Israel kill women and children. Iran, here's the number I was looking for. The Iran, they don't have the, yeah, they're not listing the exact amount for Iran. I know that the Iran war has gone over $25 billion and it's keep on rising. Now let's talk about the last legacy. So this war that Lindsey Graham is pushing against Iran has caused billions of dollars to be lost all over the world because of the supply of gas and oil all over the world. And if it continues at this rate for another couple of months, we're going to have a global depression, and then the whole world is going to suffer. So now the whole world should be wishing that maybe Lindsey Graham had never been born. Because if I'm being naive, because there would have been somebody else to take his place, but let's just play along with the fantasy. If Lindsey Graham had never been born, maybe we wouldn't be on the verge of World War III because he was behind the Ukraine war and he was behind the war in Iran, which is going to destroy life for all of us and our grandchildren. So maybe right now the whole world should be saying, God, why did you create that person? I'm exaggerating because if it's not for Lindsey Graham, they would have found somebody else. You get what I'm trying to say? But I'm just giving you the example that this man is wicked, very wicked. He says that we should kill, there's no such thing as a good Muslim. We should kill all of them, right? This guy is wicked. He's dead. I'm not going to celebrate. You know why I'm not? In general.
Yeah, it is yeah, it is completely terrifying to realize how close his relentless hawkishness brought us to the edge of absolute global catastrophe. Like this is a man who literally never met a foreign intervention he didn't want to fund, a regime change war he didn't want to back, or sovereign nation he didn't want to threaten, with the USA military, from aggressively pushing the invasion of Iraq and demanding endless escalations in Afghanistan to his final days, demanding a hard line war in Iran and acting as one of the most extreme cheerleaders for escalating the conflict in Ukraine. I mean, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been born. He
No, he
was
shouldn't be
just
born.
he was evil. Like he
This
was
guy's on the
just
same, he's in the same
rotten to the
wavelength as Hitler.
core.
He's the same wavelength as Hitler. I'm telling you. Mhm. Yeah. Unless if you're white, then he cares about your life. That's Lindsey Graham. He doesn't care about the death of black people, Africans, or Ar Arabic people. Alex, what are your thoughts about how much all of this war and shit is costing America in terms of America is beginning to implode socially and economically? And what plays a big role in it is that America's whole economic effort is towards wars, which don't help Americans. It helps war profiteers at the expense of Americans. Yeah. What are your
It's
thoughts,
great.
Alex?
It's really frustrating, honestly, because they're spending $8 trillion of your hard-earned tax dollars to rain fire and instability in these poor nations, while looking you straight in the face, telling you that there isn't enough money in a bank to rebuild a collapsing school, fix a broken bridge, or guarantee basic health care for citizens right at their own home with their own tax dollars. It's really frustrating,
Done.
honestly. Like
No.
yeah, it's really messed
So
up.
listen, Trump said he came for MAGA, America first. He said that he wasn't going to do wars anymore. He's funding wars in Somalia, funding wars in Nigeria, funding wars in Ukraine, funding wars in Iran, uh, all of this. And he came on TV. Remember, I followed it. He said, I'm not concerned about daycare or childcare. I'm not concerned about inflation or the world economy. I'm only concerned about Iran. Remember that statement Trump made?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Sure.
So this is for every redneck, for every racist American who wears the American flag and say America first. Even with your racist agenda, is Trump helping it did Lindsey Graham help it or did it hurt it? Because you have less food on your table. You have less guns to go kill black people with because you can't buy them because we're killing Palestinians. But I guess it's okay that at least Palestinians are getting killed, even though black Americans aren't. Isn't Trump hurting your agenda? What are your thoughts on Falabi? Then let's get out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look at there was a figure I saw when I was researching on this $195 billion for Ukraine and trillions for the Middle East. Basically, this increases the US national debt and it causes inflation. Now, this is directly targeting American working class. So this doesn't help at all. And then the interventions in Iraq and Libya, you look at it, there were no clear timelines on how long it was when it was going to end. So it was just bleeding America of resources and affecting the middle class and the working class. So I mean, it was a hegemonic, it was imperial. I don't know what kind of ideology this was. The ordinary American on the streets didn't benefit in one way. And their rhetoric was always, it makes America safer. But you look at the resource constraints, there's infrastructure to be repaired in America. There's border security and of course veteran care. All these things require money, but you keep sending aid
Future
abroad.
terrorism. Future terrorism from Iran and other people. Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you keep sending aid abroad, to try and show that you're in control and your empire, your hegemonic empire, doesn't get destroyed. So people like this, and there's still many more Lindsey Grahams, people with this foolish
Yeah.
ideology. I just hope that with this
Anybody who believes that Lindsey Graham,
gradually, all of them keep falling.
yeah, because after he's dead, somebody else will replace him. The deep state controls America. But I just want to say, uh, rest in pieces. All right, take us out of Fabi.
It's been another brilliant show. We've been discussing the Lindsey Graham's ideology and how his interventionist doctrine of continuous war and his hegemonic principle has, bled America of millions and trillions, and it has affected the American working class. And from Mustafa and Alex, we'll be back again with another interesting political story. Bye for now.
Okay, and good luck to Argentina. I want Argentina to beat England because Spain can beat Argentina. Because I want Spain to win. I don't want England to make it to the finals. All right, I'll see you guys. The game is on now, Falabi. See you
All
guys later,
right.
man.
All right.